Honestly, man, like Christmas, I could give or take the presents. This is like unwrapping the biggest one all year, and especially this year, I've been really looking forward to it because I canceled my Apple Music subscription. I only have Spotify now, so the numbers, hopefully they can't lie this time. Hey neighbor, welcome back to Beyond ARTV. My name is John and it's time to take a look at my Spotify Wrapped for 2019. What music have I been listening to the most? And as I emphasized in that little intro, I did indeed end up saving money by canceling Apple Music, but also I do miss it in some ways, but I focused on Spotify. I tried to make sure I logged everything, and this year, to make sure that Spotify doesn't screw me over by saying that every song in my top 5 like last year was Post Malone, I actually signed up for a Last.fm account. I started scrobbling everything, so we'll compare the numbers at the end of the video. Sorry for the brief interruption. This is my son, my hamster, Pinkerton. Yes, indeed, named after the Weezer album. He wanted to pop in to say hello, and I know you're already sitting here judging my Spotify Wrapped, like yours is any better. His entire Wrapped was Weezer. I don't think it would take a rocket scientist to guess which album either. I'm nervous. Okay, I'm stalling. I'm sorry. We're gonna get right into my Spotify Wrapped and my reactions to it. If you enjoy this today, then please drop a like on the video, subscribe for the love of music. I talk about music in the form of countdowns, discography rankings, exploration videos, and much more. Stick around for all the year-end countdowns, and let's get right into unwrapping my Wrapped. I'm seeing Bring Me the Horizon, Broods, Queens of the Stone Age, and Weezer it looks like, so let's see. In 2019, your sound changed with the season. Spring, okay, cool. I'm seeing the artists here. Obviously, I was listening to different things as the year went on. I even saw a podcast in there. Blink-182 are all over fall, Slipknot, Microwave, of course, as well. I'm seeing pictures. Show me some actual statistics. One lucky artist was my number one, it says. And it says Weezer. I spent 14 hours listening to Weezer. And my favorite song of theirs was Can't Knock the Hustle? Maybe let them know that they made my year. That is solely because of Weezer Ranked. Obviously, Weezer and whatever other bands I do a ranking on actually make this list and have the most hours logged because I have to spend a lot of time listening to their discographies. And I think Weezer might have had the biggest discography, maybe them or Foo Fighters out of the entire year that I did. Moving on then, that's a little bit weird. My top artists. Foo Fighters were after Weezer, not surprising at all. Blink-182, I loved 9 a ton and I did spend plenty of time listening to them. Cage the Elephant at number 4 and Slipknot at 5. Thank God, I actually got a pretty good representation, a nice little snapshot of what I was digging this year. These numbers are gonna sound super light to some of you, and I know you wanna come and flex and dunk on me and say, I spent 72 hours listening to the Red Hot Chili Peppers or Post Malone. I get it, but also I listen to so many different artists because I cover so much different stuff on my channel that I'm very rarely just sitting around just listening to one artist all the time. Up next, we have, let's see, World Citizen. When it comes to your music, borders disappear. You've listened to artists from 22 different countries, and Sum 41 Canada I see showing up first. Looks like I can use the arrows to flip through. Broods from New Zealand. We've got Maroon 5 from the United States. You had to pick that one out of everything from the United States that I've streamed in 2019. Just because I listened to Memories a few times before a track review, you're gonna slap that on there? Oh, who else have I got? The 1975 from the UK. We've got Hosier from Ireland. That makes sense. Sum 41 from... Okay, you said I'd done 22 different countries, but you only showed me like 5. You were genre fluid. You refused to let one sound define you. Well, that's my motto, so hell yeah. Indie rock, pop punk, modern rock, and pop were my top genres. That little chart is kind of weird. It looks like an MTV graphic from the 80s, so I kind of dig it in an odd way. Modern rock is almost always my top genre, and it's interesting to me. I'm like wondering, what do they classify as modern rock? And also, I've seen some weird things, like they classify Microwave as pop punk on some sites that I've looked at. So that doesn't seem accurate, but also I guess I can't argue too much. The next slide here is an all black screen. I like the way that they rolled out, and you loved these songs the most. Get your top songs playlist. Blame It on My Youth. That's in there solely for the purposes of research, I swear. Falling Apart by Broods, a couple of Broods tracks in there. Actually, I loved the hell out of that album. Some Cage the Elephant, The Raconteurs, Sunday Driver, absolutely. If that wasn't in there in the top spot, like one of the top spots, then I would say this is totally whack. We've also got some Water Parks, Ariana Grande, Bad Idea, Vampire Weekend, 21 Savage, Nihilist Blues. That's a nice surprise to see that creeping in there as well. Wallows, Foals, Jetty Bones, a lot of Blink-182, Billie Eilish, Carly Rae Jepsen, Go to Sleep by Radiohead. There is a throwback track that I jammed a ton this year. This is not really surprising me. Obviously, all these songs I know I've listened to plenty of times. It just makes the list a little bit more boring. We got People by the 1975, Pieces of Us, Mark Ronson. You discovered 156 new artists this year, but you really vibed with Anderson .Paak. Very cool. I love some Anderson .Paak. You explored 28 of their songs, listened to 2 of their albums, and spent over 3 hours with them. That seems low once again, but then again, I think I did get that record early from the label, so I listened to the new one, Ventura, a little bit more actually off of Spotify rather than on it. We're over on Last.fm now, and it says I've scrabbled 11,512 different songs, over 790 different artists. So let's move into the listening reports. I signed up December of last year so that this would be accurate for this year. I just ran into a brick wall. I realized something really inconvenient. Apparently Last.fm will not let me see the entire year so far until the very end of 2019, so January 1st. So if I do that, then I guess I'm gonna have to put it in a separate video, and I apologize for that. I thought I'd be able to see it, but I can only see 2018, and I didn't sign up until December 10th of last year, so that only gave me like 20 some days to actually have a listening report on, and again, that was last year. So I'm really sorry this didn't turn out the way I wanted it to, so in exchange, I am gonna go react to the decade end list for Spotify Wrapped. We've been together since 2011. Apparently that's when I signed up for Spotify. Why stop there? The 2010s wouldn't have been the same without me. Oh, thank you, Spotify. Take my $10 a month. We've spent some serious quality time together. This looks like a listening breakdown of each year. Okay, this is actually what I wanted to see. So, looks a little confusing here, the graphs. In 2015, I spent 25,693 minutes. It looks like it steadily went up for the most part. It went down in 2019? How in the hell is that possible? I do not understand how Spotify logs this stuff, because I genuinely went out of my way to listen to Spotify more than anything else. And apparently it didn't work. I don't know if offline listens don't factor into this, because I do a lot of that, but still, 38,000 in 2016. Could they have made this look more confusing? 37,885 the next year in 2016 or 17. 2018, 38,000. And this year, 34,604. What else do we have? The music that defined my decade. Oh, this is a nice little collage here. 2014, my top song was Shut Up and Dance, and my top artist was Coldplay. What a great year. I really did enjoy that year because I had moved to the coast. I was pretty much by myself. It was kind of a lonely year, but music for me was like really good and comforting, so those definitely make sense. Coldplay's Ghost Stories came out that year. 2015, my top song was Hallelujah by Panic at the Disco. That's unexpected. And my top artist was Churches, to no one's surprise in the audience right now. 2016, my top song was Roses, featuring Roses by the Chainsmokers. I know exactly why that's on there, and that person that always played that, I'm no longer friends with, even though I do like that song. I do like that song, but that guy played it so much every time he would come over to my house. It was just like, please stop. My top artist was the 1975, and with I Like It When You Sleep having been my album of the year for that year, that does not shock me at all. 2017, my top song was Hard Times, and that was just the anthem that year. That's still the anthem, who am I kidding? And my top artist was Wolf Alice. I am so happy to see this actually kind of making sense. And apparently my top song for 2018, they lied. Okay, did anyone, this is actually kind of a full circle thing for me right now. Now Spotify is admitting that they lied to me in my video last year and made me look like a fool for having all Post Malone all the time. It says my top song was Dweeb by Teenage Wrist, which actually makes sense. And last year, they told me it was like Blame It On Me by Post Malone or something. So anyone who's watching again this year, you know what I'm feeling right now, the relief. And also, Red Hot Chili Peppers was my top artist. So yes, definitely makes sense there. 2019, are you kidding me, Spotify? I just started feeling better about 2018, and now you've put Blame It On My Youth as my top song of the year? How did this happen? This is what I get. I should have just streamed it on YouTube instead of just leaving it on a loop on Spotify before I did my track review. This came back to bite me in the ass in a major way. The next one is my artist of the decade is Green Day. Yay! Oh, okay. My heart is full. Once again, my favorite band, and it's even in green font, just like Green Day and Spotify, and it's a great new photo of them. So I'm feeling a little bit better about things, and you're right, Spotify, this is a pretty big deal. Better share this out with Green Day immediately, but apparently I listened to 34,604 minutes this year, top genre modern rock, and the decade list right next to it from my decade wrapped, we've got Green Day, Fall Out Boy, Blink-182, Weezer, and The Killers as my top artists, and then my top songs of the decade were Roses, Classic featuring Fetty Wap, Soundcheck, I think that's the Catfish and the Bottlemen song, Hallelujah, and Far Too Young to Die? What a weird ass list that doesn't seem representative of me at all, outside of Far Too Young to Die, of course. But Soundcheck by Catfish and the Bottlemen? I haven't heard that song in years! Whatever, Green Day was my top artist, so I better shut up now before they just decide to randomly edit this in real time and slip in more Post Malone songs. Not that I have anything against Posty, I really don't. It was just weird to me last year when he dominated everything on my list. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for tuning into my 2019 Spotify Wrapped reaction and also my decade in Wrapped Spotify reaction. So drop a like on the video if you did enjoy it. If you want to see me react to my last.fm stats for 2019 at the end of this year, then let me know in the comments section down below, because I'm a little irritated that I didn't get to do it today.